It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
This next question, Brian, is from JD Walker. You can call him JD. Does our emergency fund really need to grow if we are covered for at least a year? At that point, I feel like it's just too much lost opportunity with that cash idle at currently low interest rates. So there's a lot in there. The first thought is, JD's thinking, hey, I got to have an emergency fund for a year. I want you to kind of speak to that a little bit. And then once I hit that number, do I keep building my emergency fund or what should I do? Or if I'm someone sitting on excess cash, what should I think about that? Because right now interest rates are so low. Are there ways I should think about? Is it hurting me? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? What are some thoughts there?
Yeah, I think you first have to understand the why of cash. I mean, because when we're going through the financial order of operations, in the beginning, when you're looking at steps 1 and 4, step 1 is deductibles covered. Step 4 is the emergency reserves. That stuff is to cover you from all the bad stuff that can happen in life. And realize when you're talking about the emergency reserves, we typically, for a younger person that's working and can get a job pretty easily, it's somewhere between that 3 to 6 months. It only expands out beyond that if you're in one of those high income situations or you're getting close to retirement where your cash reserves might need to expand to 18 months. I've even seen people have 36 months because they're counting on this money in full retirement. So 12 months is already pretty frothy. So I'm assuming you've already made it through primarily steps 1 through 8. I mean, you've got the kiddos covered on college savings. You've got a plan for all the vacations and everything else because you've blown past saving 20 to 25% of your gross income. So your age plays into this. So somebody who has 12 months, you've already got a great cash reserves. I will tell you before I give more rules, cash is a unique wealth building tool also for somebody. Now, I don't want you to going beyond 12 months if you don't need it. And this is probably going to be, once again, where we tell you graduated to the point that you might need a financial advisor to help you maximize this. But I have in my own life found that sometimes having good cash on the sidelines can be tremendous when markets have lots of volatility, when real estate markets get beat up. You can be a contrarian tool, but you're trying to figure out, should that next dollar go towards investing versus going into cash?
Yeah, I just want to, because I know that a lot of our folks hear you say that and they start saying to themselves, oh, I heard Brian say it, I'm going to save up my cash for the next opportunity.
No, that's not.
This whole idea of building up what we like to call dry powder or opportunistic cash for some future endeavor is above and beyond the 25%. I want to say that again.
Yeah.
The idea of building up excess cash to deploy at some future date is after you have committed to putting 25% to work for you every single pay period, or every single cycle, or every single year. It's above and beyond that. It's not taking your 25%, putting that in cash, and waiting for an opportunity. Then you're just trying to time the market. You are doing yourself no favors building your wealth that way.
I think that's a very solid point, because I will tell you, in my own life, you get to where you're already saving the 25%, but yet somehow, and I know a lot of you are in your journey. I was there with you in your 20s and 30s. This is for the financial mutants in their 40s, and money just starts building because you've done all the right steps earlier. You will notice that cash just starts building.
Yep.
And that's the part where I think that's where JD is struggling. I think I have made that decision. This is where, are we prepaying our mortgage, or are we just increasing our monthly dollar cost average? And this is probably the point where the bucket strategy comes into play too, because it's not uncommon for financial mutants to look at their buckets of saying, hey, I've got a lot of tax deferred money because I was trying to lower my taxable income. I got the employer match. Or, hey, I've got Roth money because I was trying to make sure that I was saving in the tax-free. And I want you to continue to prioritize tax-free, but you will reach a point that the government restricts how much you can put in tax-free. All of your money, you don't have liquidity in after tax. There is nothing wrong with you increasing that dollar cost averaging monthly purchase into after-tax investments, so that maybe if you're retiring early, or you want, the liquidity or the bridge account to let you, leave the workforce, you're covered. And that's the part. But it does go back to, and Bo's going to pick this up, you're probably at the point when you're making these type of decisions, you need a financial advisor that can hone in to make sure there's not a blind spot that you're not taking into account.
That's exactly right. And Brian, I know you said this, but it's worth reiterating, because the last part of JD's question was, man, it kills me that my cash is just sitting idle at low interest rates. I agree. If you have a year, you're probably, and depending on your life circumstance, maybe you're over there at cash. But whatever your emergency reserve is, if it's 3 months, if it's 6 months, it sucks having it sit idly by in cash, but it's necessary. You got to do it. Don't try to outsmart it. Cash is king when you need it. So don't sacrifice that just because of where low interest rates are.